is Wednesday, and today we're gonna be taking it all the way to Wisconsin, the land of dairy, to talk to you about dairy. Just kidding. We're gonna be speaking all the way from SoCal local, but fun fact, it feels like we are in Wisconsin because it is so because it is so freaking cold here.
Good morning, Christy.
What's up, dude?
Welcome.
Good morning, Joyce.
Morning, Joyce.
Joyce, what time is it by you over there?
And how many friends do you have watching?
Yes.
And what are you eating?
Why, she always eating
last time
during
I
this?
feel like one time she sent me a photo of them around a table or something eating.
Aww. Joyce, what time is it by you? Good morning, everybody else who's in the room.
Why can't we see?
We can't see who else is in the room, but we see
Teresa,
that there's
we see.
Good morning, Teresa. Aw, Joyce, you're so sweet.
How is everybody's week going so far?
Thumbs up if your week is going good. Thumbs down if your week is going like shit. My mission will be to make your day better so that we can change that.
Today is... Do you remember that commercial with the camel? Mike.
No.
Guess what day it is?
No, I didn't grow up here, remember?
It was not that long ago. It was like you were in college. Hump day!
I didn't have TV in college.
Well, I just
Only
did
if
the
I was
commercial.
lucky enough to have a roommate who had a TV, then I had a TV.
I just let you know the most important parts of that commercial. Mike.
Got it.
Hump day.
I do remember Hump Day. So sweet. All right, you guys. So today we're going to be talking about dairy. There is a lot of misconceptions out there, but I feel like when you don't know the why to things, it's very easy to make an assumption as to...
It's very easy to take what Dr. Oz or somebody else says and run with it.
Yeah. So before we begin by talking about dairy, I want you to comment below and tell me if you think that dairy is good or bad. So comment good if you think it's good, comment bad if you think it's bad, just because this will help me to understand what you guys think, what things you listen to on a regular basis. And that sort of thing, because the goal of this show is, again, to not take any sides, but to just provide you with real, raw, just straight up information. I mean, yes, I can give you my opinions, but when I give you my opinion, I'll always tell you why it is what it is, rather than just saying blah, blah, blah is so-and-so. Good morning, Crystal. How are you, Mama?
There's a lot of people in here that we haven't seen.
Kennedy, good morning.
Welcome. We also have... Oh, there was somebody else who
As
jumped
we're
in.
going through this, please comment, good or bad, if you think that dairy is either good for you or bad for you, and then we'll begin.
Yeah, where are you guys? Don't be afraid to answer. It's not right, wrong. It's just what you think.
Okay, so Christy, make a decision, good or bad. Depends is not an option.
Everything. That depends. That depends. Your wearing depends.
Everybody else, good or bad? Come on. I'm just interested to know what's going on in your head. That is why I'm asking you. There's really no right or wrong answer. Remember, we're a community here. We're not here to call anybody out whatsoever. Here's a fact. Whether you say good or bad, you're right. I just want to tell you why. So just answer it, because I want to know what is your opinion. There's no right or wrong here. Just answer. What do you think it is?
Good morning, Mike and John. Welcome. Thanks for joining us. It can be good.
All right.
Christy, give a solid answer. Just say good. Thank you, Joyce. I buy farm fresh eggs, don't drink milk because of the way animals are treated. Valid. And what they feed them, valid. And all the hormones they give the animals too, valid. Some good, some bad. I lean more towards bad. That sounds more like an ethical reason, which is your reasoning, which is why dairy is bad for you. Great.
All right, you guys. So this is going to be a great topic today because we also have people who are not from the United States, and we have some people from the United States. And let's begin. Okay, now we're starting to get responses. So I want to tally this up.
Couldn't live without dairy. All the guys, it's good for you. I love it. Joyce, I'll go for good.
Yeah, Joyce, you said good before. Thanks. Um,
She's trying to give another tally on the good
good,
side.
good. But I still.
So we have
We have mostly good. Okay, you guys. So we have some people in the room who are not from the United States, like Joyce, who is in the Philippines, and we have some other people who are from the US. So the biggest thing about dairy, and Teresa and Christy, you're touching upon it a little bit, is dairy can be good for you and dairy can be bad for you. What will determine whether it's good for you or bad for you is how the animals are raised. It is no wonder why Joyce is saying that dairy is good for you. Joyce is from the Philippines, which is um, a small country off of the Pacific coast. So it's literally like on the other side of the world in Asia. Obviously, cattle over there is raised completely differently than cattle over here. Did you guys know that about 50% of US cattle is now owned by McDonald's? It is no wonder why the cattle that's producing the dairy in this country, for the most part, we're going to get into the details in just a little bit, is bad for us. And it is no wonder why people like Joyce are saying that dairy is good for us, and while people like Teresa and Christy, who live in Iowa and California, are saying that dairy is bad for us. So, rule number one, you have to take this with a grain of salt. Dairy is good for you, but all that it depends is how the cattle was raised in order to produce the dairy product. So like we said, if you're in the Philippines, okay, and the cattle is literally just like roaming around, eating grass,
living how it's designed to live, living how it was put on this planet to live.
Living how it's designed to live will give you high quality dairy products.
I start my morning every day with dairy.
Meanwhile, Teresa, I'm just going to use you as an example. I'm not sure how close you live to any cows, but I know that Iowa is full of cows. So I will say that if you're like Teresa and you have, cows literally like on the other side of town, the cows that are treated in Iowa are treated completely differently, okay? They're mass produced, they're overfed with hormones, literally in order to just procreate and grow as fast as possible to produce the most amount of meat and milk so that they can be basically butchered. And about 50% of it nowadays goes to McDonald's. It is all processed meat. And
they're not treated well. So imagine also like it is a live living being, and it had like, so are we, right? It's just a different animal. And imagine if you were treated the way that the animal was treated. If you're not happy, your body's not going to be healthy, and then whatever meat you produce is not going to be good for the consumer, right? And it's the same with the cow. Like those cows are miserable, right? And so even the quality of the meat going into the processing is bad already. Not to mention that they're fed what they're not designed to be fed. So their system, just like if I were to eat out of the garbage can and I were to go eat like a tennis shoe or some crap that doesn't make any sense. Tennis shoe is bad because it's not actual food. But just like the processed food that we eat makes us unhealthy, the food that they're not designed to eat makes them unhealthy, and then they're going into the processing already in that state.
Yep.
So it's double whammy.
Exactly. So rule number one, it all depends on how the animals were raised. And as you can see, Joyce is saying that there's a lot of goats in that country, in the Philippines, in that country. So, cattle over there is very happy, and therefore it produces high quality dairy. In fact, most countries around the world produce really high quality dairy. That's why you see that in Europe, dairy is a big part of their lifestyle, and people are happy when they eat dairy. Now, of course, dairy is a big part of the American lifestyle too, but I feel like there's always this guilt and like this stigma around dairy. Did you guys know that okay, so yes, when it comes to milk, the milk that the cow produces, though it produces it for its baby. How do you call baby cattle? What is the name
Calf.
of it again? Calf, right. So though it is produced for calves, do you know that it has like the nutritional breakdown that's literally perfect for any human as far as like providing you with nutrient density and then proteins, carbs, and fats. You can literally, like somebody, if you wanted to, you could live off of milk if you're drinking high quality milk, and you'll be so well nourished. Seriously.
There's a ton of vitamins.
But that is if you consume high quality milk. Now, the problem in this country is because most cattle is raised in a very poor way. Milk has a very bad stigma because most of the milk or the dairy products in this country are just super highly processed because of the way that the animals are raised. And that is why, milk that you get in the US, unless it says, it has certain labels in it, which we'll talk about in just a little bit, I would recommend that you stay away from dairy milk. And that is why, for example, I put almond milk in my coffee. But you know what? When I go to Israel, the cattle in Israel is raised beautifully, and the dairy there is super high quality. Israel is where I'm from, by the way. But every time I go back there, for my coffee, all I add is their regular milk. Because
it tastes
so much better. Like the texture is so much better, and it is like there's so many vitamins and minerals in it, and it's beautiful. And Joyce, please let us know your opinion on it. Like if you have basically milk on a regular basis, like how do you like the taste of it?
Or if you have something, I would be curious if she has something else to compare it to. Because if you've only had good quality milk, you don't know the difference, which is a good thing. That's fine. But Crystal, grass-fed organic dairy products are good.
So this is what we're going to get to in just a second. But before we're going to get into that, let's just read back some comments just to make sure that everybody is on the same page. Teresa, I know it's horrible, and they pulled the babies away so they can continue to produce the milk. I cannot stand that. Yeah, it's awful. Like there's absolutely there is no ethics to it whatsoever. It's actually awful. And we absorb that energy when we eat it for sure. Bran Young, am I pronouncing your name right? There is nothing.
And where are you from?
Yeah. There is nothing no more some humans can do for the world. Cows, products, anything. Joyce loves goat milk. All persons can do is just noise, but in the end, nothing will happen for the good of most of humanity. So interesting. Goat milk is good for our health because they eat grass and leaves. And so do cows when they're raised right in the meadows, like in the Philippines. Oh, you're so sweet, Joyce. Thanks, Bran Young. Please let me know if I'm pronouncing your name right. Okay, so Crystal, you're leading us to a very good point. So Crystal asked if grass-fed organic dairy products are good. The answer is yes. Okay. Now, some people may say otherwise because here is the thing. Lactose, like gluten, might manifest sensitivities to some people. So now, especially in a society where there's an abundance of processed food, okay, this jeopardizes our immune system, which is why so many people in this day and age are dairy sensitive.
Or gluten sensitive, or this sensitive, or that sensitive.
Right, just like gluten sensitivity. Now, the fact of the matter is, unless you eat dairy and you feel sick afterwards and you have to go to the bathroom, you know very well if you're sensitive to dairy, because my brother is sensitive to dairy, and like I know that he's sensitive to dairy because whenever he has anything dairy related, he goes to the toilet immediately. Okay, but unless you get that reaction, then you don't have a dairy sensitivity.
Unless you get dairy reaction,
because our immune systems are so jeopardized from all the processed food that's around us in this day and age, dairy gets a very bad rap, especially in the United States. As you can see, where Joyce is from the Philippines, it is completely the exact opposite thing, right? Unless you're lactose intolerant, dairy is absolutely good for you. But because, like we said in part 1, because of the way that most cows and cattle is raised in this country, you want to go for grass-fed everything, okay? Because unless you see grass-fed and organic together, and just so you know, organic is not enough. Organic is not enough because organic does not tell you, okay, how the animals were raised, okay? Organic, so usually you'll want to go for hormone-free, grass-fed, organic, okay? Just to show you how much they overprocess everything in this country, that you need to literally look out for 3 different labels, maybe even 4, because depending on what dairy product it is, you might need to look for non-GMO as well. But
the more labels you can find, the better.
Yes, but if you live in the United States, these are the things that you need to look out for. And saying organic dairy is really not enough, okay? Organic just means that they don't overload them with hormones. Organic does not tell you what diet they live on, okay? Grass-fed does. So you want to look for basically organic, no hormone added diet, no hormones added to basically anything that's related to the dairy product, and then grass-fed, which tells you what diet they lived on, okay? They ate grass, not potatoes and corn, which, yes, I don't know if you're surprised, but this is basically what all mass-produced cattle eats. Potatoes and corn, because it's cheap and it's really, it grows fast and easily. And it's also very abundant.
And non-GMO. You already talked about that?
Non-GMO, I feel like that's like a completely different topic. But look, you know, when it comes to GMO, it just has to do with the chemicals that are added to the corn that they eat, right? So most corn products are infested with CFCs and all these sprays that are also killing our planet as well, okay? What's on that corn is literally going to be ingested by the cow, which is going to be ingested by you, okay? So you might want to look out for that too. Okay. So again, things to look out for are organic, grass-fed, hormone-free, non-GMO. If you're in this country, okay, and
when
that
all the stars align, your dairy is good for you.
And that is why dairy gets a bad rep. Because even if you in this country, even if you drink just like whole milk, add it to your coffee, think about it. If it's, let's say, a cow that comes from a mass producing milk farm from Iowa, right next to Teresa's house. Just kidding. Teresa, I'm just saying it because I love you and that's what I know Iowa for. And for you, of
She's
course.
like, I've driven through, I've seen some cows.
Yeah, when I drove to California, when we drove through Iowa, all I saw was cornfields and cows.
Makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, man, where I was going with this. So, you know, dairy products in this country are just very overly processed because of the way that cows are raised. There is a bad rap for dairy because if they are raised in a mass-produced farm that treats them like shit, that feeds them crap, that you know, really like overpumps them with hormones so that they can grow faster and mass produce faster, then by the end of the day, this ends up being in your milk. And most milk products in this country are a byproduct of that, which is no wonder why dairy has a bad rap.
And they also have more saturated fat because that's also because of what they're eating is not what they're designed to eat. They also get fatter, not meatier. So that's why it's not lean. They're not lean animals anyways, but there's even more bad kind of fat that gets added to their bodies when they eat what they're not supposed to eat. And dairy gets a really bad rap, but at the same time, those same cows are producing beef. And so if we think, oh, beef is okay, but dairy's not, it's coming from the same animal. It's coming from the same source. So though dairy gets the bad rap, it's all...
Beef does too. We can talk about beef on another day.
But you don't hear people saying, oh, I don't eat beef because it makes me inflamed or bloated or whatever.
Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't.
It's not the same as dairy.
It's not as strong. I feel like in Cali it is, but I feel like generally it's not. But I feel like because dairy is added to so many processed foods, so it doesn't matter. Is dairy good or bad for you? So, you know, dairy, the source of dairy is great. It's great because it is a nutrient-dense food that supplies you with a perfect balance of proteins, carbs, and fat. And when handled correctly, or, you know, when grass-fed, it is also like rich in micronutrients like vitamins and minerals and things that your body absolutely needs. And when you eat it in a raw form, like as in when it's natural, then your body absorbs it differently. For example, the calcium that you would get from a fresh cow's milk will get absorbed better than, let's say, the calcium that you get from a supplement. Always, always, always rule of thumb. Now, the problem in this country is because of mass production and because of the highly over-processing of food. Cattle is not raised right, and therefore anything that's related to products that cattle produce, like beef and dairy for the most part, are really, really bad for you. So if you like dairy and you live in the United States, please, by all means, keep on consuming dairy products. But it is your obligation to look out for words like organic, grass-fed, hormone-free, non-GMO. Otherwise, you're leaving yourself with so much room for error, okay? And you're adding those extra toxins to your body. The reality is that unless you are lactose intolerant, by all means, you have the right to eat dairy. Or you've done some tests that tell you that you have some kind of dairy sensitivity, which are more common nowadays just because most people eat a highly processed food diet and they're not even aware of it. Then that is very much possible, even if you're even if you're not lactose intolerant, okay? But it is your obligation to know these facts and to act accordingly if you want to live a happy, healthy life, and if you love dairy. If you love dairy, by all means, keep on eating it, okay? Just know what to look out for when getting dairy. You know, the dairy that you will get at Walmart, the dairy that you will get at your local grocery store that produces it, like I don't know what you have by you, ShopRite or Vons, is not the same as, let's say, this. How do you call
like
it?
A specialty store, like a Trader. In California, we have Trader Joe's and Sprouts, but I think not everywhere has those.
Even when you go to Trader Joe's, I will look at the labels. To be honest, because I don't trust most dairy things out there. I just got used to drinking almond milk. But the reality is almond milk better than high quality dairy milk? The answer is no. It's just because of all the places that I lived before I moved here. I didn't have a lot of healthy options around me. I just started consuming almond milk and it just became a habit. So, yeah.
We're going to go through the comments. There's a lot of things going on here.
Sure.
People want to make money.
Ooh, Joyce, your boyfriend's from Cali.
Thanks for inviting your friends to watch.
This is great to know. Most nutritional advice I get always says to cut out dairy completely.
If you love it and it makes you happy, just go for a better source. Just get the best source that you possibly can, and then you don't have to feel bad about it.
Right. Marketing and fast foods born in the USA very wrongly is around the world killing us slowly. Yeah, for sure.
And the first enemy is bad marketing. People want to sell things. People want to make money. They're very selfish and money driven, and that's what happens. We can't control other people. You're good, Sarit. Teresa loves you.
Teresa, I love you too.
Dude, hope some humans start to get some knowledge for their own health and a good life. That's what we're trying to help provide.
Very difficult in society today to completely cut all bad processed food, water, and processed drinks, for sure.
So maybe a good thing is at least we don't have the same poisonous food, etc., that make it variable.
Crystal, I think another issue for people, even if they know hormone or organic is better, is price, but our health is worth it. I seriously always tell my husband, because he'll get cheap stuff if he goes shopping. You guys, Crystal, thank you for bringing up, that comment. So, this is something that we talk about all the time. A lot of people say that getting healthy products is expensive. And, I have to be honest with you. We live in California. So in California, number one, everything is more expensive than anywhere else. But in California, everything, it's an abundant place and there is a lot of produce that grows here. So what I noticed when I went to New Jersey a couple weeks ago is that produce over there is so expensive. Like, it is insane, like double the price than here. But here is the thing, you guys. I remembered, before when I just had part-time jobs and, financially I was like extremely unstable, I remember that there was one exception that I always made, and that was what food I buy into the house and what food I put in my body and what I put in my fridge. And it doesn't matter what was the size of my paycheck. whether it was $1,000 or more, because to me that was an obligation. And here's the thing, you guys, when it comes to your health, if you're being cheap about it now, you're gonna pay literally hundreds of times that amount in a couple decades from now. Why? Because when you get sick in this country, healthcare is so freaking expensive. So here's how I want you to think about it. Either add $100 to your grocery bill every week, or 20 to 30 years from now, get really sick by one of the chronic diseases, which now in this country it seems like we can't get away from, and literally pay an average of $150,000 a year. So now tell me, what is more expensive? And Crystal, you're bringing up a really good point. So if you're ever like, oh, okay, organic so-and-so is $2 more, always remember this. By the end of the day, what matters more to you? Saving on those $2 more, or in 10 years from now, maybe paying $150,000 more? This is your investment. It's your investment for yourself.
Another thing to think about too is the sustainability of good products. The more better produce, like organic produce, grass-fed, whatever products that you get, if you think about how the farmer had to treat all the plants and raise it, and the expense that it costed them, they don't just charge more because they feel like charging more and they want to make more profit. Cheap food actually makes more of a profit. Organic food, grass-fed food, free range, whatever, it costs the person raising it and growing it more to do that, and that's why they have to charge more. So the more you support that, the more, I don't expect it to ever get cheaper, because like our friend is saying, like a lot of marketing, and like McDonald's owns a lot, like Pepsi, Coke, they own so many things that it's a gigantic ship, that, good luck stopping it, I guess. Like, I don't want to be a downer, but they control so much. And so, like Sarit said, it's partly, you paying a little bit more now so that you don't have to pay a lot more later, and then supporting the people who are trying to do good for the community, and raise things right and grow things right.
Yeah, for sure. Crystal, nice job.
Yeah.
Way to talk some truth to your husband.
Show him this video and then do that.
Oh, is it expensive in the Philippines too? Yeah, look, there's just an inflation in this world because there is a lot of corrupt leadership. We can't do anything about that, but one thing that you can do is invest in your health.
Morning, Rick. Morning, Ed. Morning, Janelle.
This applies to butter, cheese, eggs, cottage yogurt, all dairy products, not just milk, correct? Yes.
Yeah. You are what you eat.
Yeah, baby, you are what you eat.
Insurance is expensive.
Insurance is so expensive.
And prevention is the best medicine.
Prevention is medicine, you guys. And that's why, I went to college. I was in the pre-med track. And then I was like, F this BS. Like, I just don't believe in it. By the time I got my master's degree, actually, my master's thesis was self-care is healthcare. And my professors really didn't like it because I learned about the pharmaceutical industry, and I was like, I don't believe in any of this, and I didn't even walk in my master's graduation. Just saying, this is just a fun fact. But you guys, really, this is why we're here, and this is why we show up to you 5 times a week, to put on this show, because we know that what we talk about here is kind of unconventional and has to be heard, and yeah, it has to be heard because it is different, and there's just so much going on in society right now, and there is just, poor leadership, corruptness. It's not about how fast we can produce things or how much we can produce, but it's about doing it right. And by the end of the day, when you wake up each morning, you have an obligation to show up for yourself as best as you can every single day. So the purpose is to help you make the best decisions as possible when it comes to your health, because you know what? Your health is the greatest gift that you actually have. Without your health, you don't have anything, okay? If you guys like this video today, please do us a favor and share it with your friends so that they can hear about all these cool things too, especially if they're dairy lovers, just so that they can learn. Like, if they ever feel guilty about eating dairy, should they actually feel guilty? Should they eat it? Should they not? Who knows? So please help us to share it. Remember, at the end of each week, the person who shared the most videos throughout that week will end up receiving a coaching call from us, because as you help us to grow our community and grow the message that we're trying to share with the world and help to transform millions of lives through the same movement, nutrition, and lifestyle habits that have transformed ours, we want to give back to you for trusting in us, for believing in us, and for taking your time to just click the share button and sharing this with your friends. You guys, today was lovely. Thank you so much for sharing all of your opinions, whether you're in the United States or in the Philippines. It does not matter. We love you all. Tomorrow, what are we
Chanel,
doing?
thanks for jumping out of the shower to say hi. You don't have to get out again.
Janelle, dude. I'll be there for you. You know what I'm talking about. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about something that's related to training. Okay, so we will see you at 6 a.m.
Mañana.
Happy hump day.